Hi, I'm fat, like obese fat, and here are my credentials. And I grew up fat, which means I have a lot of strong feelings about this family channel, Life with Brothers, and the recent prioritization of underage mukbangs. If you've been on the internet for even a little bit, you'll know by now that mukbangs are no longer just the harmless and wholesome eating shows that sought to keep viewers company and combat loneliness. As with most wholesome things on the internet with impressionable audiences, they have mutated into shock value clickbait entertainment or even outright fetish and feeder content. Words that I can't even say on YouTube, but are okay content-wise, I guess. And so, when I was recommended a mukbang video that featured a 16-year-old on TikTok, I already had my reservations, and unfortunately, I feel that I was quickly justified in them. I know you may appreciate my content for its level-headed and nuanced understanding and discussion of weight-related topics, but I have to be honest here, this quote-unquote content has me heated in a way that is far from understanding, and I do acknowledge that it's because I'm viewing this through the lens of a girl who grew up fat. This is Izzy, and she is 16 years old. Despite what her TikTok bio would have you believe, she is 16, and here is a publicly available playlist of all of her birthdays, which yes, have all been recorded and put on the internet, to prove that this 18 in her bio is some sort of misdirect, if not an outright lie. From the very conception of this channel, this family has a long track record of posting food-related content. From tame family dinners to challenges and competitions, matching games and taste tests, at the very least, their content seemed to be family-focused and family-friendly. Though I already have a pretty negative view of family channels who profit off the labor of their children, with little to no protections for them and their earnings, I at the very least could concede that this family channel might have appeared harmless on the surface. But I feel that this content took a steep turn, starting with a couple of prank videos where Izzy ate Taco Bell like jelly bean sweets in front of her family members. To keep things short, Jelly Bean Sweets is a controversial TikTok mukbanger known for her over-the-top, messy eating style. The prank videos that Izzy made emulating Jelly Bean Sweets' eating style garnered millions of views, and each subsequent mukbang video starring Izzy performed just as well. This is likely what inspired the creation of Izzy's own TikTok page. From the success of these videos, it also appears that Izzy took on somewhat of a new persona within the family dynamic. All of a sudden, Izzy's role was to be the gluttonous and insatiable butt of the joke. She became known for starting a video off already eating and being aggressive in food challenges by fighting for and hoarding all of the junk foods while actively avoiding any veggies. Now, I can't truly know the reason why this family decided that focusing a whole branch of their content on Izzy devouring food or crafting her appearance as an insatiable and gluttonous eater who hates veggies was a good idea, but I will speculate that it has something to do with the high view counts and the even higher returns. Maybe you're wondering what the big deal is. Maybe you're thinking that 16 is close enough to 18 and she should have some autonomy by now as an older teen. In this context, I think that's a weird thought, but that's fair. So here's what I think about that. Izzy and her siblings, older sister Mary and younger brothers Junior and Gabe, were all raised in this content farm they call a household. The oldest video on their shared YouTube channel, Life with Brothers, is from 2016, when Mary was almost 11, Izzy was 8, and her brothers were 2 years old and 1 year old respectively. They were effectively raised with an audience, taught that interacting and capturing reactions for content and entertainment is normal. I'll go one step further and say that I think, on an even deeper level, that family vlogger parents often take advantage of the innocence and trust of their children to profit off of their labor. But that's really an aside to the broader point of this video. Whether the intention is conscious and nefarious or otherwise, it's still a cause for a lot of concern. And these children being taught those lessons at such a young age, how would they know any better now? After mom and dad have encouraged these behaviors all their lives, how could they have ever given informed consent to have their lives and intimate family moments plastered all over the internet for the consumption of strangers? And how could Izzy at 16 consent to making content like this?
Guys, I got Taco Bell! Ooh, it's steaming. Cheers.
Normalizing taking huge, messy bites with over-the-top facial and auditory reactions, not only is her digital footprint forever, but the potential dangers of eating this much, this often, is being completely overlooked. Not only do behaviors like this turn into habits, but they can be incredibly detrimental to your health in the long run, and I worry that this is not even being considered by Izzy, or worse, by her parents. How could she possibly know how this might be shaping her future and what she might be trading for views? It's media training in the most cursed way imaginable, and from the people who are supposed to teach her what healthy eating and good social media boundaries are. Even in this recent TikTok where Izzy describes the creation of her personal TikTok channel, where it looks like she will unfortunately be focusing on more mukbang content, she states that her parents gave her permission to create her own TikTok, but did not let her name it what she wanted.
Guys, I have the best news ever. My parents finally let me make my own TikTok, and it's Izzy Alexis 2008, guys, because I was born in 2008, and my name's just Izzy, so I'll link it down below, so you should be able to find it easily, and I'm gonna eat there. I wanted to call it Izzy Eats, but they wouldn't let me.
So how much consent and control is really being displayed here? Unfortunately, we will probably never know. But the level of control and quote-unquote parenting that we do see does lead me to believe that the 18 in her bio is likely her parents doing as well. All of this to say that Izzy's age is what makes this content feel so sinister. Whether intentional or whether the parents even understand or have even considered the drawbacks or not, I believe that this is exploitative. And I mean exploitative in the sense that the children are the product. And the drawbacks for Izzy specifically include the deterioration of her physical and potentially her mental health, all for monetization. I do think that in this new digital age, social media can of course be a real job. However, just like any real job, you have to really look at what is being traded for what is being gained, and I don't think that losing out on one's childhood and health are appropriate trade-offs of any kind. Not to mention that if this is a job, there should be protections for children who are put to work in this manner. I would understand if my opinions here sound dramatic to you, but if you've ever grown up fat, you would understand the detrimental effects that it can have on your physical health, your self-image, and your mental health. And adding an audience on top of that, I can only imagine what that might do to a child or a teenager. It's not that I think kids should be coddled, but I do think that they should have a base level of protection from the mob that is the internet, especially when the content itself is preventable and the hate comments are so disgustingly blatant and abundant. Izzy's mom even pointed this out during the very first Jelly Bean Sweets prank video, asking if Izzy's sure she wants to post this because of the way that she's eating or the way that she may have been perceived.
Are you sure you want to post this? You might get some mean comments.
But I think that maybe seeing the success of the video got mom on board. The comments are also really divisive. If they aren't overtly hateful towards Izzy, then they are worried about her. But worst of all, we're all complicit in our engagement with the content, and the sentiments of the comments really seems to change nothing. The intentions from the parents here, to me, mean very little when so many of these comments echo the same sentiments that I am sharing now. Especially when many of these comments are just outwardly, disturbingly hateful towards Izzy. And when you have to turn off the comments on many of your family vlog videos, but you don't do the same for these TikToks, what does that tell you about the nature of this content? I think they know by now what the reactions to their children will be, and to keep chugging along business as usual, raking in those sweet, sweet social media dollars without even a second thought for their children's future physical and mental health or their privacy and safety, it's concerning to say the very least. I also want to make it clear that I am not speaking for Izzy, because I know that I have my own issues with having grown up obese. I know that I may be projecting a lot of my feelings about growing up that way and about the complications that come with being an obese adult. I can truly never know how Izzy feels about her situation. I only know that from an outside perspective, I feel that Izzy deserves better support for her health and the chance at a normal life. Not a life riddled with obesity-related complications or social media-related issues. But that's all for now. Please let me know how you feel in the comments. Please tell me if I am being dramatic, because sometimes I truly don't know, especially with subject matter that hits so close to home. I also want to give a huge thank you to those that encouraged me to try something new with this faceless content. These videos mean a lot to me and they are truly a labor of love, so having your support in making them in the method that works best for me, it really means a lot. And thank you to everyone who watched this far. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Please like and subscribe so that we can reach our goals together, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
catch me if I fall.
Not me trying to cover the mic like I try to, like I usually
You do
cover my camera, you know what I mean?